What it is, YouTube? It's your boy Troy, and I know hoops, man. And honestly, man, playoffs has been pretty crazy. Playoffs have been pretty crazy. Hasn't been the best for me. I'm gonna get into that in a little bit, man. But man, I'm gonna go ahead and just address the round one losers, man. Man, the round one losers, man. Honestly, I'm only going to address like four of them. I talked about the Grizzlies pretty earlier because they got swept. Pretty sure I talked about the Miami Heat. I addressed them a little bit in the last episode. I'm not really going to talk too much about the teams that like got swept or like lost in like 5 games. Only one team in particular I am going to talk about that lost in 5 games because it was crazy. But yeah, man. So without further ado, man. Before I even get into that, I want to thank y'all again. Once again, I appreciate the love, appreciate the likes. Appreciate new people coming in, just hanging out, watching the stream with me, man, and just vibing, man, just talking hoops, man. Honestly, man, I really appreciate it, man. It's going to be more consistent, bro. It's honestly going to be way more consistent. I've been lacking a little bit. That's on me. But, life be happening, but that ain't no excuse. So I definitely plan on double uploading this week. Well, the week's about to be over, but I definitely plan on double uploading probably tomorrow or the next day. Actually, no, it's going to be tomorrow. New Troy. It's going to be tomorrow. Uploading another episode tomorrow, man. But without further ado, man, let's just hop right into it, man. The first team we're going to talk about. Nope, we're going to save them for later. The first team we're going to talk about, man, Houston Rockets, man. I feel like LeBron versus Toronto is definitely worse than Curry and Houston. But Curry versus Houston is definitely right there. Like, it's Curry versus Houston, LeBron versus Raptors. Just another year, man, of just the Rockets just not being able to get past the Warriors, man. And like, I even said that I didn't really see the Rockets beating the Warriors, but like, I just they were down 3-1. They fall all the way back, won game 6. They go to game 7, bro. And like, the vibe just felt different. Like, a part of me thought they could pull it off. But at the end of the day, I still thought the Warriors were going to win. But a part of me did want the Rockets to finally pull this off and finally beat Stephen Curry. But sure enough, they didn't. they did not. Buddy Hield had damn near a perfect game. Dang. Not a lot to say about that. Jimmy Butler also played pretty good. But we're not going to keep talking about the Warriors, man. We got to address the Rockets. Now, I'm not going to be like everybody else and attack Jalen Green. I'm not going to be like everybody else and just say all these crazy things about Jalen Green. Yes, he played horrible. He absolutely played horrible. Like, he played horrendous. I'm not going to lie. Like, I think there was only – I'm pretty sure he averaged – I'm going to look at his average right now, actually, because I was actually laughing when I looked at it. Because a lot of people were, like, going at Jalen Green. I'm like, man, he couldn't have did that bad. He couldn't have did that terrible. But, like, man, I'm about to pull it up for y'all just so y'all can see, man. So, I got it right here on my phone. Jalen Green averaged 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists in the playoffs. He shot 37%, 29% from 3. Didn't get to the line as much as he should have. And I'm just going to read you some of these stats, man. So, game 1, he had 7 points. Game 2, he had 38 points. Game 3, 9 points. Game 4, 8 points. Game 5, 11. Game 6, 12. Now, you would think in the game 7, man, yo, is this finally going to be the game that Jalen Green snaps? Is this finally going to be the game where he gets out of this not going above 12-point slump? No. He had 8 points. Only took 8 shots. Yeah, man. I mean, it was bad, man. They only scored, I think, 89 points that whole game. I think Warriors scored like 103 points. It was 103 to 89. A lot of these games, Fred VanVleet was your leading scorer. And shout out to Fred VanVleet, man. But like, he's the vet. He has a role. He was hot. I don't mind it. But like, at the same time, bro, you're asking your young cornerstone in Jalen Green to, finally come out his shell in these playoffs, bro. He had one great game, 38 point. That was a great game. But other than that, it's like, other than rebounding, he's honestly not really doing much. Not really that good of a playmaker. He's athletic, so it's going to look like he's solid on defense, but he's really not that solid on defense. Um, I'm like I said, I'm not going to go at Jalen Green, but what I will say is, Houston, if you really want a superstar, bro, if you really want to get in them Giannis talks, if y'all really want to get into that KD talk, if y'all even want to get into Devin Booker talks, my nigga, you're going to have to trade Jalen Green. Jalen Green cannot be next to a Giannis. He can't be next to a KD because I'm going to be honest, right? Throughout the regular season, he was the leading scorer on the team that was the second seed. I ain't taking that away from him. I'm not taking that away from him. And also, he's too young to be called a playoff dropper. A lot of people start calling him a playoff dropper. I'm like, bro, like, he's young. He's like 21, 22. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't really think he should be deemed a playoff dropper. What I will say is, if they're going to build that team around the core of Sengun, Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, either Jalen Green works his ass off this offseason, bro, or they just going to have to get rid of him. Because if you're Houston, right, you're finally back in the talks of being a good NBA team. They were the second seed, for God's sake. They won 50-something games. You know what I'm saying? You got a great coach in Ime Udoka. Shout out to Ime Udoka, by the way. And a lot of people didn't really expect him to be in this position. A lot of guys didn't expect him to be a second seed, let alone not even be a playing team. You know what I mean? So if you're Ime Udoka, I think his first thought is definitely, all right, how do I get these young guys to have more of an offensive bag? Even Amen Thompson definitely could have had better games offensively. But his potential is just out the roof. His upside's out the roof. So I don't mind Amen Thompson not really having it all together on offense right now because he's still only a 2-year player. But I can't say the same for Jalen Green because he's mostly known for offense. He's mostly known for highlights. He's a high flyer. He'll have games where he'll have 30, 40, shooting out the gym, but then he'll have awful games where he'll have single-digit points. And he'll go 3 for 15, 2 for 11, 1 for 10. Like, and like I said, if you're Houston and you really want to make a big move, trade Jalen Green. But if you're Houston at the same time and you're not going to do nothing the offseason, because I'm not going to lie, a lot of teams are going to be obsessed with Jalen Green's upside. So I feel like Jalen Green would have to be the cornerstone of any type of trade you try to do. I'm going to keep it a beam. So with that, it's just more so like, all right, bet. If I'm Houston, I'm honestly building around Sengun the men. If you're not Sengun the men, anybody can get traded. I'm real rap. Anybody can get traded. I would honestly think about keeping Jabari Smith Jr. Because, all right, let's say, for example, right, if you're Houston and you're training for Giannis, you need to surround Giannis around shooters. You need to surround Giannis around shooters. A team of, let's say, for example, say if they trade Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, Jabari Smith, your now lineup looks like what? Amen Thompson at point guard, because there has been talks of them trying to put Amen at point guard. All right, cool. Amen Thompson at point guard can't really shoot. Jalen Green can shoot sometimes. Your small forward, let's say Tari Easton. He's cool at shooting. He's just okay. Then you have Giannis at power forward. We all know Giannis can't really shoot. Then you have Sengun, who can't really shoot. Giannis' best teams have been around players that can shoot and defend. So if you're Houston, you might want to think, damn, I might want to keep Fred VanVleet. Damn, I might want to keep Reed Shepard, even though he doesn't get playing time. Damn, I might want to keep Jabari Smith Jr. I might want to keep Dylan Brooks. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just with Giannis. With KD, I feel like you can make anything work with KD, honestly, but like you just gotta be a well-coached team. You can make anything work with KD as long as you have a well-coached team. Ime Udoka is a great coach. You can make something work with Ime Udoka and KD. You can make something work. But on the same side tip, not only do you have to get these superstars, but you also have to get these superstars in the form of play that your team has. You can't really change how your team plays when a superstar comes in unless that superstar is asking for it, or unless the superstar is trying to change how they play. So therefore, they're willing to compensate, or y'all both adjust at the same time. It doesn't always work, though. It doesn't always work. And then another thing, if I'm Houston, and this next team I'm about to actually talk about, if I'm Houston, do I want to run into a Phoenix Suns problem where I trade my young core, who literally just had playoff success, for a star? the Phoenix Suns traded Mikal Bridges, a couple picks. I think it was more than a couple actually. A couple picks and somebody else for Kevin Durant, right? Then they went on to trade CP3. Then they went on to trade DeAndre Ayton. I don't think there's a single player left on a championship team except Devin Booker. Well, not championship team because he didn't win. But the team that went to the championship, I think the only person that's left, honestly, is Devin Booker. I don't even think they got the same coach. They don't have the same coach, actually. I think they ran through like 3 coaches since then, honestly. But aside from that, man, if I'm Houston, I don't really think I want to run into a Phoenix Suns problem, bro. Real rap, I really don't. I don't want to be that team that trades my core too early. We just got successful. I don't even think I want to trade my core too early to get guys like KD or to get guys like Giannis, to get guys like Devin Booker. But at the same time, it's KD, Devin Booker, or Giannis, bro. It's KD, Devin Booker, Giannis, bro. And then the NBA is also a business at the end of the day. Houston's going to want to put some butts in seats, man. So if Giannis comes to Houston, KD comes to Houston, even at 36, 37, 35, I don't know how old KD is. He's old as fuck, though. An older guy like KD coming to Houston is still a great deal because he's Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? Devin Booker is also putting butts in seats. For some reason, I keep seeing trade moves about Ja Morant coming to Houston. And like what? I don't even believe nothing like that. But Houston, honestly, bro, I think what they need to do this offseason is really reevaluate what they want to do because they just found success. Do they either want to keep this core or do they want to dip their hands in the cookie jar a little bit, see what they can get? Honestly, if I'm Houston, I'm doing both. I'll dip my hand in the cookie jar. I'll fish around, see what I like. If I don't like nothing, I'm dipping out. Simple as that. And then you're also giving up more of your future. You're also going to have to give up picks for Giannis. If I'm the Bucks, I'm getting stingy. We're going to get to that in a little bit. All right. But Houston, I mean, I don't really believe in moral victories like that. But I will give Houston a huge shout out, man. I don't even think Houston fans thought they would be second seed, let alone win the 50-something games, man. So definitely big shout out to Houston, man. So next team we're going to talk about, the Detroit Pistons. First of all, big shout out to Cade. Big shout out to Detroit. We're from being the worst basketball team I've ever seen in my goddamn life last year to being 6th seed and taking New York to 6 games. That's calm. That's cool, man. That's cool. They went around like 44, 43 games, and gave New York a run for their money, bro. I'm honestly surprised. I'm honestly in the good way though. I'm surprised in the good way because, they almost had the exact same team, except for the addition of Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr. They got a new coach, JB Bickerstaff. Shout out JB Bickerstaff. Love to see black coaches having success. One thing I do want to say about Detroit, man, they definitely got to get in that shot creation department. And they definitely going to have to add another piece with Cade. I think it's something more on Reddit. Somebody asked, like, what could the Pistons do to possibly, like, get somebody to come to the Pistons? Like, who would they trade? Now, they obviously lost Jaden Ivey early in the season. Jaden Ivey probably would have been the second option or the second go-to scorer. But somebody brought Devin Booker up. And I'm like, I'm not going to lie. A backcourt of Devin Booker and Cade, I'm seated. I'm not going to lie, bro. A backcourt of Devin Booker and Cade would be crazy, but if you're the Pistons, you obviously going to have to give something up. You're going to have to give a lot up, actually, because it's Devin Booker. I don't know if Detroit got picks or not, but I might dabble in that. I'll throw some offers. You know what I'm saying? I'll throw some offers about Devin Booker. That's no problem for me. That's no problem. I don't think that's a problem for anybody. I think anybody would throw some shots at Devin Booker or throw some trade offers for Devin Booker any day of the week. But like I said, the NBA is also a business, bro. If I'm Detroit, I'm definitely going to Devin Booker's because we're going to put some butts in seats, bro. Absolutely. But then again, if I'm Detroit, honestly, the young core they have is good. I mean, Cade Cunningham, Asar Thompson, Jalen Duren, like, that's cool. Isaiah Stewart as well. I mean, that's cool. But then you got vets like Tim Hardaway Jr., Tobias Harris, like, you know what I'm saying? Malik Beasley, somewhat of a vet, even though he's kind of young. Like, you have a lot of guys that can like get you some pieces, but at the end of the day, I feel like they also have some money too. But then again, like the worst thing about these like these like non-high market teams, like, you know, who wants to live in Detroit? You know what I'm saying? And I've never been to Detroit, and I'm pretty sure anybody that lives in Detroit will either tell me it's cool to live there or it's bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of these athletes don't really think like that nowadays. But it would be a cool success story to see these guys get out the mud and not need anybody and still be good like they did this year. All they need is Cade. I would think Jalen Duren takes another step. I think Asar Thompson takes another leap. You know, Malik Beasley loves being there. You see it on his Twitter. Tobias had his best season in years in Detroit. So, I mean, like, you know, if I'm Detroit, I'm not really hanging my head low, especially considering the low stakes that everybody had. A couple people thought they was actually going to beat New York. You know what I'm saying? So, big shout out to Detroit, man. Honestly, bro, Cade Cunningham's a beast. He deserves that All-NBA team first selection. I'm not going to lie. He going to get second or third, though. I think he deserves that first selection. I really don't even think, like, the All-NBA stuff really takes storylines into consideration, which is kind of dumb. You know what I'm saying? But shout out Cade Cunningham. Shout out Detroit Pistons, bro. That was a fun team to watch this season, too. It was fun actually seeing them getting, you know, posted and stuff too. They went on like a nice little win streak as well. They were doing hot. They was doing all right, man. I actually love seeing like newer teams get in the playoffs, and I actually love like seeing like more like variety in the playoffs. It's another word I'm looking for, but I'm just going to say variety. You know, new teams like the Pistons coming in there and kind of stamping themselves, making a name for themselves. Man, it was really cool to see, bro. And I really do expect to see them back again next year with even more like notoriety as well. So big shout out to the Pistons, bro. We're gonna move on to the darker side though. And we're gonna talk about the Bucks. Bucks. Not gonna lie, y'all better off making a statue for this man right now because he is not coming back. Giannis is not coming back. I'm gonna keep it a beam. So if I'm the Bucks, right? If I'm the Bucks, man. First of all, let's just talk about like how many times Giannis has publicly said that the team has to get better. Or somebody has asked him, yo, Giannis, you cool with staying in Milwaukee? Giannis will say, yeah, if they build some shit around me, sure. I'll stay. Sure. Why not? I love Milwaukee. You know? But Milwaukee has a problem with being stagnant and just swearing Giannis can just take him far because it's Giannis Antetokounmpo and he's one of the top 3 players on the planet. And that's just not how it works. That's not how it works. Let's start with one. You're not really a market team, a high market team. So it's kind of hard for you to get people to come here. 2, I don't remember the last time they've actually like put their draft picks to use or players that they drafted to use aside from Giannis, aside from I think Chris Middleton was drafted there, aside from Chris Middleton. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really see nobody like coming to Milwaukee, and I don't really see nobody coming to Milwaukee in the draft. Now, there's a couple interesting teams that I've seen that could trade for Giannis possibly, but I'm not gonna lie. If I'm the Bucks, I'm trading Dame too. Why not? I'm trading Dame too. I'm trading Giannis and Dame. Not only to, you know, obviously tank. Your future's pretty much done at this point, bro. But like, you can get some solid picks with Dame and Giannis. And not only that, you can get some solid role pieces as well for Dame and Giannis. Now, a very interesting trade I saw was OKC potentially wanting to get after Giannis. Now, I'm pretty sure there's a top 6 protected pick between the Sixers and OKC. If the Sixers get a pick from 1 to 6, they keep their pick. But if it lands at 7, that should belong to OKC. If the draft lottery comes out and the OKC Thunder do happen to get that 7th, 8th pick, it doesn't matter. I would hope in the 7th to 8th range. I'm not going to lie. If I'm the Bucks and the OKC's calling about Giannis, give me J-Dub and that pick, and I will give you Giannis. Give me a couple picks, actually, because it's Giannis. So, yeah. Give me a couple picks, including that pick and J-Dub. We talking business. I'm going to keep it a bean if I'm the Bucks. Now, obviously, OKC's probably going to decline that, but if you're the Bucks, I'm not going to lie. You can get stingy. This is Giannis Antetokounmpo. This is a multiple-time MVP. This is a NBA champion. This is a top 75 player. This is Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he's only 30. He's only 30. So I'm going to keep it a bean. If I'm the Bucks, I'm getting greedy. I'm getting greedy. If you close the door, cool. I have somebody else right there. Houston right here. Pacers right here. Pacers would be a very interesting pick to trade Giannis to. Pacers would be very interesting. A team with a lot of depth in general is very interesting if I'm the Bucks. I'm going to keep it a bean. It piques my interest, bro. For certain teams, you can honestly say the Bucks can snag their second best player, probably their first best. Who can, actually not. Certain teams, you can actually snag their second best player and a couple picks on top of that if you really want to. If you're the Bucks, I'm gonna keep it a bean because it's Giannis, bro. It's Giannis. I don't see a world where Giannis stays. A couple people actually think that Giannis is staying. I don't see a world where he stays just because of the Bucks having really no direction. They have nothing going for him. I think where they really talked their season was when they traded Kyle Kuzma, where they traded Chris Middleton for Kyle Kuzma. Why are you doing that? Chris Middleton on one leg is better than Kyle Kuzma. I'm gonna be so honest with you. Chris Middleton was slowly declining, but when he was on the Wizards, he was decent. He was all right, but he was also a little injury prone as well. Yeah, a couple of nasty injuries. But like I said, I would take Chris Middleton with one leg over Kyle Kuzma every day of the week, twice on a Sunday. So my whole thing is, if you're the Bucks, you giving up Giannis, all right, cool. Another thing is, would teams even be interested in Dame? Because Dame had a serious blood clot injury. A lot of people didn't even think he was going to play the rest of the season, which he probably shouldn't have. He probably still should have sat out. But he ended up playing. He got another injury. And I don't really know if he should be able to play but next season, but I don't really know how soon it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be beginning of the season. I don't know if it's going to be middle of the season. But if I'm an NBA team, do I risk that for Dame? Probably not. Probably. Who knows? I know one thing for sure, though. I'm getting off Giannis. I'm taking advantage of that right now. If I'm the Bucks, right now. And it's a couple good teams. Like, let's say, for example, all right, the Knicks want to go at Giannis. The Knicks ain't never scared to trade nothing. Ever. The Knicks ain't scared to trade nobody. You know what I mean? Like, and then on top of that, it's like, all right, if you're the Bucks, are you going to depend on players that you're getting back, or are you going to depend on picks? Like I said, nobody's itching to come to Milwaukee and sign to Milwaukee. So with that being said, I'd probably rather rely on the picks. I do want a player back in return, though, just because, we need to put butts in seats somehow. We need to put people in the arena somehow. You know what I'm saying? KPG and Bobby Portis is not putting people in the arenas. I'm sorry. They probably going to get all Bobby Portis too. I would trade the whole good pieces that we have. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Portis, Giannis, Dame, they all can go. I'm going to keep it a bean because it's just nothing for them. Every team in the East is literally going to get better. The Pistons just got better. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? The Raptors could probably make a move. Who knows? Who knows? The East is so unpredictable, bro. Then it's like, when you really think about it, all the game plan is just going to remain the same. So let Giannis cook. If Gary Trent has a good night, cool. KBJ has a good night, cool. You know what I'm saying? The plan's always going to be just get on Giannis. Let Giannis do whatever he wants. Everybody else can just get locked up. You can try to do whatever on Giannis. That's cool. Does that mean anything for the rest of them? No. Because they can't rely on them every night. So I think if I'm the Bucks, bro, I'm definitely like, if teams come calling, I'm answering. It really depends on the offer for them, honestly. But if I'm the Bucks, I'm honestly going to listen to offers. I'm gonna give y'all 4 teams. I will listen to offers from them. I'll listen to the Pacers. I definitely listen to OKC because they got hella picks. I will listen to Houston. And I've been seeing the Nets, but Milwaukee would be stupid for trading Giannis to the Nets. I'm not going to lie. So I guess I'll just put the Nets in there. I really think the Knicks also might make a move at him too. I'm not even going to hold you. But Yeah, man. Milwaukee has a huge decision to make as far as, where Giannis is going. Giannis is definitely dipping, though. I'll take the over on that. I'll take the over on Giannis dipping, bro. There's no way Giannis stays in Milwaukee. If I'm him, I'm leaving. I'm not gonna lie. And then it's like I feel like Giannis one of them dudes where like, yo, if I dip, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder how the league gonna look at me. Which I'm gonna keep it a bean. He really shouldn't be thinking that. You gave this city a championship. You played for them. What year you got drafted? 2013, 2014? You played with them for 10 years. You got them a championship. Who cares? Get traded. I would doubt any Bucks fans burn his jersey. If they do, they're stupid. You know what I'm saying? They're stupid. But NBA fans can be stupid sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Giannis out there. I think they would definitely I think they respect Giannis enough to like let him choose where to go. But obviously, if I'm the Bucks, I'm still holding on to. All right, man. You can choose where you want to go, but like I need them picks. We're not going to be relevant for a minute. I need them picks. I'm not going to hold you. And then I guess you can get your players from trading Dame and Bobby Portis. You can definitely get a good player though for trading Giannis, but and if we're going to be realistic, you really just want picks for Giannis and maybe a good player. With Dame and Bobby Portis, you can just fill out your roster in terms of trading with that. But yeah, man. Very disappointed to talk about this team, man, but we gotta do it. Los Angeles Clippers, man, got eliminated. Game 7 in Denver. One of the worst games I've ever watched as a Clippers fan in my life. Not gonna lie to you. I remember my homie Nick asked me. I think it was my homie Nick that asked me. Or nah, me and Nick talked about it. I think it was my homie Matt that asked me. He said, "Bro, be honest. Would you rather had this been a close game and y'all lose by 1 point, so the crash out could even more like be even more bad, or would you rather have this game been a blowout and you just get mad a little early? The game finally ends. By the time the game ends, you're cool." I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really have time to crash out or get mad because we were getting blown out. Plus, I was at work. I was watching this at work. Very upsetting situation for me, man. I'm already at work. I'm already doing like, you know what I mean? And then I'm watching them get cooked. Crazy thing is, man, I've seen a lot of Paul George fans and a lot of like Sixers fans talking crazy. Cause if y'all remember, Norman Powell in the beginning of the season was asked about PG being traded or not, PG leaving the Clippers and going to the 76ers. All bro said, I'm gonna keep it a bean. It leaves more opportunity for other guys like me. It's addition by subtraction. And I don't see why everybody was so mad at that, but I'm gonna keep it a bean. It's not like it wasn't the truth. Paul George played 40 games, and he won the max contract. Mind you, some guys in the comments were like, "Damn!" And mind you, Harden had an absolutely shitty game. Harden played trash. I'm gonna keep it a bean. His legacy is forever terminated until he can get something together. I'm gonna keep it a bean. There's no reason that in elimination games he really folds that bad. Halftime, he had 10 assists. I'm looking at the upside of the shit. I'm like, all right, halftime, he got like 10 assists. He's still in single digits, but he got 10 assists. And then we were only down 9 at that point. Then we just didn't score for a whole 5 minutes, and then Denver just started turning up, and that was it. But yeah, man, it was funny hearing that from Sixers fans, especially considering like, all right, they were saying, oh yeah, and they wanted us to give James Harden a max. I'm gonna keep it the bean. You gave that max money to Paul George, and it was more money. Harden had one of his best seasons this year. I did see a tweet. Somebody said one thing about Harden, he going to get y'all into the playoffs. The rest of that is up to y'all. And that's not the truth. And then we can't even run with the gimmick anymore that, oh, yeah, if Kawhi was healthy, Kawhi was incredibly healthy. Kawhi was incredibly healthy. He did his best. I'm not going to sit here and say that he couldn't have done more. I mean, he was averaging 20-something or 50% shoot. Like, he was good. He was good. Harden was pretty solid up until Game 7. Norm was pretty solid up until Game 7. It is what it is, man. But, if I'm the Clippers, if I'm the Sixers or Paul George fans, really can't be talking. I mean, man's played 40 games, and he's making $40 million. Jared McCain outplayed him in like 16 games. Some Sixers fans were even saying that Jared McCain was better than Paul George. Even Paul George was sitting here saying, oh, if we want to win games, Jared McCain can't be our best player. I'm like, come on, bro. You a vet and you talking down on the rookie. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But I was definitely getting cooked on Twitter because I had said something about whatever, like people saying that PG wasn't wrong. Oh yeah, Norman Powell trash. Yada, yada, Harden's trash. Yada, yada. I got cooked. Somebody said y'all have no assets. Y'all have no picks. Everybody's old as fuck. We can't trade nobody, and that's nothing but the truth. That's our future. I'm not gonna lie. Like we have no future picks. The best players we could trade is Norm, Derrick Jones Jr. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where we go from here. I don't. And the funny thing is, like, I was more so mad that they made me believe that this season was going to be different. Now, we weren't supposed to win over 35 games this season. We won 50 games. We actually won one less more than we had last year when Paul George was on the team. So, you know what I'm saying? But all that to say, man, I mean, Kawhi, James Harden, I mean, they're going to get us in the playoffs. That's automatic 40-win team, like, you know what I'm saying? But, like, and then this is going to be a full offseason where Kawhi is actually healthy going into the offseason, so he has a lot of time to – look at me over here trying to cope. I really don't know what we do. I don't know what we do. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, we have no money like that. The best thing I can say is – and then it's like that's still kind of a sticky situation because, okay, let's say you make a couple trades and you're halfway good. We're halfway better than last season. We're just going to end up another second round, first round exit. Who wants to keep going through that? But then again, who wants to go through our trading everybody and let's just be ass for a couple of years? Who wants to go through that? Nobody. Steve Ballmer just built a whole new arena. You think he wants to tank and be ass for multiple years in a whole new arena? No. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. That's just me. But all that to say, man, I don't know where the Clippers go from here. I'm super disappointed, though. Very disappointed, actually. I'm still actually mad. I'm actually glad that I didn't make a video after we lost because I would have just been crashing. Either I would have been crashing or I really wouldn't have been saying nothing because I wouldn't know what to say. But now that I've had a week to really cope and a week to really, peep the scenery and see what's going on, I don't know what we do. I'm going to keep it to me. I don't know what we do. One thing I do know is I do trust the Clippers. After last offseason, after this past offseason that just happened, I can't say that I don't trust the Clippers to make something happen or make something shake or be somewhat competitive. One thing I will say is, though, it's going to be very interesting to see how the hell they can get out of this. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be very interesting. I think, and then, it was funny because in one of the Denver and Clippers games, KD was there, Kyrie was there. Everybody was like, "Oh, whoa, KD, Kyrie, oh." We can't get KD or Kyrie. If I'm the Suns, I absolutely want picks, maybe a player or two. You're not getting none of that with the Clippers unless we're trading on power or some shit. But like I said, one thing I will say, I absolutely will trust the Clippers to see what's up this offseason. We have a whole new arena. We have an owner that's willing to pay some good bread. Steve Ballmer, if you can work your magic, convince somebody to sign for a cheap little deal, pay them under the table, do what you got to do. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at all. But, yeah, man, I don't know what we do from here, bro. Very, very sticky situation, very sucky situation for everybody involved. James Harden, like, I was defending him all season. I actually think he played pretty amazing this season, considering Kawhi missed 30-something games. And we still were above 500. We were actually a fifth seed and won 50 games. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was all. Most of that was under James Harden. So, shout out to James Harden. But in the playoffs, you suck, my nigga. I'm not going to lie. You suck. That was like I was so ashamed to watch that game. Them last that like, outside of the first quarter, I was so ashamed to watch that game. I'm not gonna lie. Like that was crazy. That was insane. Yeah, man. That's gonna wrap it up though. That's gonna wrap it up though, man. Next video, I'm definitely gonna be talking about round 2. I know I'm 3 games late off round 2. Couldn't even put my predictions in and nothing like that. But there's definitely some crazy things to talk about in the second round of the playoffs, man. Playoffs have absolutely not missed, bro. We're actually getting some really quality hoops in these playoffs, bro. The Warriors and Timberwolves are actually playing right now as we speak. So after that game is over, I might have to check my ticket actually. But after that game is over, I'm definitely gonna get into it, man. But Yeah, man, that's gonna wrap it up, man. Hope y'all enjoyed another episode of Troy Knows Hoops, man. I'm gonna catch y'all.